Welcome to the video, guys. If you watched the previous video, you saw we got back from Screwfix earlier on today with a bunch of power tools, all budget stuff. If you want to see everything we picked up, just go and check that previous video out. First thing we're going to open and have a look at though is this thicknesser planer. Idea is I've got about a pallet wood, I want to try and run through it, so we're going to open this up and have a look. There we go. I was thinking of saving the polystyrene, but I just don't know if it's actually worth it. That didn't really go according to plan, so I've not fully shown it being totally unboxed out. It was hard to get out of the polystyrene. That made an absolute mess. I had to get the hoover out. So we're not keeping the polystyrene. We'll keep the box. We'll just stuff it with some filling. But hopefully once we've got the workshop set up, it can just stay put. But for now, I might have to keep putting it away, which I don't really want to do, but I could do with using it. So all the bits that came with it then. Got the guard that goes at the back, a bit of a fence sort of thing. Guessing these are both to do with extraction. We'll get them fitted on. Two of these little push things. I'm probably not going to use these because they're very slippy. That came up in a video that I watched on YouTube, saying they're not actually the best unless we can stick something on them, which makes them a little bit more grippy, but we'll see. We've got an actual push stick. Another bit of a guard, more like a finger guard, so it'll kind of sit, I believe, once it's all in properly, kind of over the blade. Kind of stop your hands getting anywhere near it. And then we've got bags of bits. So next stage I think is to get all this built and set up. I won't do all that on video because it would just be very, very boring for you to watch because it may take a while. Right, so apparently we're all set up now and we are ready to go. That's set up though for running it across this top in the planing mode. If you want it in the thicknessing mode though, you have to start making some adjustments. One of the longest parts was actually sussing this part underneath. Can't really see it very well here. I'll explain that in a bit better detail later on. I just wasn't doing it properly. Basically, you have to lie it down flat and then wind the thicknesser up to basically secure it in place, because that also acts as a bit of a safety feature. If it's not in place, the machine shouldn't turn on. I've not actually tried it yet, so I'm hoping I've got it all in place. Right, I've plugged into the mains now, so we're going to see if it's set up. Basically, if we've fitted all the extraction properly, it should turn on. If not, we know we've not set it up quite right. So we've got the emergency stop here, and underneath that, if we open this up, you've got your, I don't know if you can see that very well, you've got your green start button and another red one underneath. Obviously, when you push your big red button down, that's what makes the machine stop. So let's see if we go on. Yep, right, it turns on. It's not too noisy, I don't think. The stop button worked as it should. So we're all good to go now. I'm just going to point out a few little features. Let me just unplug it. Right, so from using it in this mode, we're going to be coming from this direction. We have got the little arrow here, just in case you're not too sure. It is all switched off, it's unplugged, so we're okay at the minute. We've got the guard here. So if we're running a piece of wood through, you kind of want this in the middle piece of wood and pushed up against it to kind of keep it flat. And also to obviously keep your fingers safe, that's the idea, so the blade isn't exposed, because you do not want your fingers in there while that's spinning round. We've got this little gauge at the side here. You can make that out very well. Let me zoom in and try press it, there we go. And then for that we've got this little knob here. So if we turn this, that should make the adjustment. There we go. And these are in millimeters. So it's got a maximum of 3mm that you can take off in one pass. It's not suggested to do that though unless you're using softwood, but even still I don't think I would. I'd prefer to do a few passes myself and take a little bit less off. Obviously, like I say, I've got the thicknesser option anyway, if you need to take off big amounts of bigger pieces of wood. So we'll run a piece through it and see what we think. Right, when putting this together, one of the things I struggled with most was attaching the extraction part of it. I was trying to like clip it underneath here. That's not what you have to do. You kind of lay it flat on the bottom. So what we need to do is crank this all the way down. I'm going to try and get as much of this on video as possible. It's going to be a bit hard to see though. This is for the top to work there, the planing function. For the thickness, we'll do that after and I'll show you that. So all the way to the bottom. There we go. Right, so you want to go in at a little bit of an angle. If you look on here, we've got these 3 little notches. You can't really pick up on the video, but there's 3 notches here. So there's 1, 2, 3. And the idea is you want them to line up. It does come with a little nut that goes on this middle one and a washer to then tighten it, which I haven't done. I'll show you why. So we put this in at an angle. Just so it can get past all the stuff inside. You kind of want to wiggle it about till it falls into them holes, which it's done now, and then you crank it all the way back up. Just to show you though, we are all plugged in. I'm going to press the on button now, and it's not doing anything at all. That's basically the safety feature. It has to be all the way up. And now it should work. There we go. So that's how you attach the extraction to work the top planing part. So we're going to run a piece of wood through it now and see how good it does basically. So I've got a scrap piece of wood here which I'm going to now try and run through. I've got it all set up as to where I think it all needs to be. I mentioned there's a little nut for this extraction. I've not put it back on because it's held in place anyway because we've cranked it up. I'm going to try and just take off. I'm going to not do too much. I'm going to try and run it through at 1/2 mil and see if that takes anything off after we adjusted it with this little knob here, and turn it back on. So it's gone through a few times. It is nice and smooth to fair. There's a few little bits it's not quite touched yet because I really don't think this piece of wood is very straight. So I think if you run it through a few more times it'd be there, but it has got a nice smooth straighter edge now than it did previously. I've gone through it a few more times and we've now got 2 smooth flat edges. What we'll do now then is demonstrate the thickness apart. Right, so now we need to just move the extraction from the bottom and put it onto the top. So wind it right down. Like so. Tilt. A bit of an angle. And then slide it out. So once it's off, what you then want to do is move your finger guard out of the way. So slide it all the way back. And you've now got these 2 holes here. And this way you go in all the way around now. You've got a little, let me try and pick this up just so you can see. Point, are we looking? Got a little dip here. And part of it needs to fit into there. Then like I say, you've got these 2 screws. So let's just try and do that. So this little notch here just needs to fit into that little dip. You might just need to wiggle this around a little bit to get it out of your way. And then all we're doing is finding the holes, screwing this in. So one's obviously got the thumb turn thing that you can do by hand, and the other one you are just going to need a little Allen key again. If I press the on button, which I'm going to do now it won't come on again because it's the safety feature. This needs to be attached for it to work. So that one's nice and tight. Just need to find where I've put that Allen key. Here it is. tighten this one up. I just wanted to show you me doing this in real time, because a lot of people, this is kind of the put off for most people, but I don't really think it's too bad if you kind of do all the pieces you need to do on top first and then change it over to do all the bits. Basically you need to do it on the thicknesser after that. So that's all now set up. So what we're going to do is try and see if it turns on. Which it does. So again, we know this is nice and secure. Just going to put this right back up to 0. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I was just thinking if things need to pass through. It doesn't actually say anywhere in the book, I don't think, to do that. So now what I want to do again is crank this up, because obviously we've got it lowest. And while I'm doing this, you've got this little gauge here, and that's the thickness of your wood. Well, the thickness that you want it to. So if you put it through now, this piece of scrap wood we've got, it's basically not going to go anywhere. It's not going to touch anything, it's just going to slide right through. So we want it fairly high. Put it to about 15. Actually, I might do it a bit lower, because I prefer not to shove too much in one go, because ideally you just want to take a tiny bit off at a time. Right, so again, this is what we're dealing with now. As you can see, it's quite rough still. We're going to try and run it through a few times and see what we get. I want to take off minimal amount each time though, because I don't want to overwork the machine. So that first pass didn't even touch the board, so we now need to raise it a little bit more. Like I say, just going to do it a little bit at a time. Already then, just through one pass, you can see the difference. It's nice and smooth. I'm going to put it through a few more times. I'm going to show you the side where it comes out as well, just so you can see what's happening. So it's gone through a few times. Still, because it's not the straightest piece of wood, you can see where it's touched and where it's not quite reached yet, because this is a little bit deeper. I can even feel that with my thumb. So if you want it completely smooth, completely level, just keep going, taking a little bit off each time until you get where you need to be. But that is perfectly smooth now. Got a flat edge either side. So for me, overall, pretty happy with that. So then I hope that's covered everything you wanted to see. This is fresh out of the box though for me, so unfortunately I can't give a bit of a review on how long it's going to last. It has got that 2-year guarantee, so we'll see what it does. But the piece of wood we've put through, very, very happy with that. Doesn't seem to have any issues. Like I said, we'll just do a little bit at a time. I won't try and take off too much at once. I don't know if it can cope with that, but overall I'm pretty happy though. Any questions, pop it in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you for watching guys, I'll see you next time.